All right, let's dive into this
Yeah.
racist humor on social media in Brazil,
Okay.
specifically how it targets Black women.
All right.
Um, you sent over some excerpts from Ethnic and Racial Studies article,
Yes.
and let me tell you, it's pretty eye-opening stuff.
It is. It really makes you question Brazil's image as a racial democracy, doesn't it?
Yeah,
The reality the research reveals is pretty jarring.
it really is.
Yeah.
It definitely challenges that notion.
Right.
And I think to understand how we need to know who we're talking about
Yeah.
when we say Black Brazilians,
For sure.
the study combines both pretos, meaning Black,
Mm-hmm.
and pardos, which means brown or mixed race.
Right.
That's a sizable 54.9% of the population.
That's a crucial point.
Why?
It's more than half the country's population facing these issues.
Yeah.
So when we talk about racism impacting Black Brazilians online,
Mhm.
it's a massive issue, not some fringe concern.
Absolutely. And the article doesn't just tell us this is a problem. It throws down some hard-hitting stats from social media.
It does.
In 2017 alone,
Mm-hmm.
there were over 63,000 reports of online hate speech.
Wow.
And a third
Yeah.
were straight-up racist content.
But what's even more disturbing is that a separate study found that a whopping 81% of those targeted on Facebook with racist content
True.
were upwardly mobile Black women.
Hold on, 81%.
81%.
That's a huge red flag.
Yeah.
It's not just random. It seems specifically aimed at Black women
Right.
who are achieving success.
Exactly. It makes you wonder if there's a backlash against their progress and this disparagement humor
Mm-hmm.
is the weapon of choice.
Okay, so disparagement humor, for those of us who might not be familiar with the term,
Mm-hmm.
break that down for us.
It's not your harmless everyday joke.
Right.
It's humor with a bite. It aims to belittle and demean,
Okay.
often hiding behind a just kidding facade.
So it's a way to be racist and then just say, hey, lighten up, it's just a joke when someone calls you out.
Unfortunately, yes.
Wow.
It lets people spread harmful stereotypes and then duck responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
But the article makes it clear
Yeah.
this kind of humor has real-world consequences.
Right.
It normalizes prejudice and makes it harder to fight.
And here's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
Because the article dives into the uniquely Brazilian context.
Right.
We're talking about concepts like jeitinho
Mm-hmm.
and the frequent use of diminutives in Portuguese.
But jeitinho is fascinating.
Okay.
It's this deeply ingrained cultural value
Yeah.
that emphasizes flexibility, finding a way around rules.
Yeah.
In many situations, it's seen as a positive trait,
Yeah.
a way to navigate a complex world.
So it's like a cultural workaround.
Exactly.
Okay.
But the article points out that jeitinho can also be a shield for racist behavior.
Oh.
It becomes a way to brush off offensive humor as harmless fun.
So people can say, oh, it was just a little jeitinho, no big deal.
Right.
But the impact is still real.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And then you add the use of diminutives, which can make even harsh statements seem softer.
Wait, diminutives. I'm not familiar with that.
So in Portuguese, you can add suffixes to words to make them sound smaller or cuter.
Okay.
It's often used to show affection,
Mm-hmm.
but it can also muddy the waters when it comes to racist humor.
Gotcha.
People can claim they didn't mean any harm because they used a diminutive, even if their words were still deeply offensive.
It's like trying to sugarcoat something bitter. It might be easier to swallow,
Yeah.
but it's still got that same nasty aftertaste.
That's a great way to put it.
Thanks.
But to really understand the power of this kind of humor, we need to look at Brazil's history,
Okay.
particularly the concept of whitening ideology.
Whitening ideology.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm intrigued, but I definitely need a bit of background on that.
Well, it's rooted in the belief that encouraging European immigration and mixed-race relationships
Mm-hmm.
would eventually whiten the nation, essentially erasing Blackness.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
incredibly problematic.
It is.
It creates this hierarchy where whiteness equals progress and privilege,
Right.
while blackness is associated with poverty and inferiority.
Exactly. And that ideology is still alive and well today.
Wow.
The article even includes this jarring joke to illustrate the point.
Okay.
When does a Black person ascend socially?
Mm-hmm.
When his favela shack explodes.
Whoa.
It's meant to be shocking,
Yeah.
but it exposes that deep-seated belief that a Black person's success is only possible through some extraordinary,
Yeah.
almost tragic event.
It really highlights how ingrained this thinking is.
Yes, it is.
So how does this whitening ideology, along with jeitinho and diminutives,
Yeah.
actually play out on social media? How are they being used to justify racist humor?
Well, the article goes on to analyze actual Facebook posts targeting successful Black women, and what they find is really disturbing.
Okay.
They uncover three major themes
Okay.
that show just how insidious this type of online abuse can be.
Okay, I'm ready to dive into those themes. Let's unpack how this unfolds in the digital space.
The first theme they uncover is the idea of the Black woman as a trespasser in white spaces.
Okay.
Essentially, when Black women dare to enter spaces traditionally associated with whiteness,
Mm-hmm.
like traveling to Europe, for example,
Okay.
they are mocked and made to feel unwelcome.
So it's like these spaces are seen as inherently off limits.
Right.
And when Black women break those boundaries,
Yes.
it triggers a backlash.
Exactly. The article gives some shocking examples of Facebook posts where Black women traveling in Europe are ridiculed with comments referencing slavery
Oh, wow.
and suggesting they belong back in the fields.
Oh, my gosh. It's almost like they're saying, you don't belong here, go back to where you came from.
Right.
It's just appalling that these attitudes still exist.
It really highlights the enduring legacy of colonialism and how certain spaces are still perceived as being inherently white.
Yeah.
And when Black women challenge those perceptions, they become targets of abuse.
It's a stark reminder that even in the digital age,
Right.
these deep-seated prejudices haven't disappeared. They've just found new ways to express themselves.
They have.
The second theme the researchers identified is even more unsettling.
Yeah.
It focuses on Black women as perpetrators
Yeah.
in white spaces,
Yes.
perpetrators as in criminals.
Exactly. It's as if their mere presence is perceived as a threat, automatically casting them as criminals or troublemakers.
Wow.
The article cites examples of posts where Black women skiing abroad are accused of stealing,
Seriously?
with commenters using overtly racist language to reinforce this harmful stereotype.
It's like they're taking this long-standing racist stereotype
Right.
and applying it to any situation,
Yeah.
regardless of the reality.
It's a way of dehumanizing Black women and justifying discriminatory treatment, and the use of humor makes it even more insidious because it allows people to dismiss these attacks as harmless fun.
But it's not harmless, is it? It perpetuates dangerous stereotypes that have real-world consequences.
And then the third theme the article explores is the attacks on Black women's schooling. This one really hit home for me,
Why is
because it shows that even achievements like higher education can be twisted and used as a weapon against Black women.
Oh,
The article gives examples of a Black female doctor being bombarded with racist comments,
wow.
questioning her competence and suggesting she should be in a more subservient role.
Oh my gosh. It's almost like they're saying, you've achieved success,
Right.
but we still won't recognize your intelligence or your qualifications.
It's about undermining their achievements and reinforcing the idea that they don't belong in positions of authority or expertise.
It's so frustrating because these women are breaking down barriers,
Yeah.
defying stereotypes,
Right.
and yet they're still facing this kind of backlash.
It all comes back to power and control.
Yeah.
These attacks are about maintaining the status quo and ensuring that Black women,
Mm-hmm.
no matter how accomplished they are,
Yeah.
never truly threaten the existing power structures.
So we see how whitening ideology, Jatinho, and diminutives are all intertwined with these online attacks. What really struck me is how the researchers connected these seemingly harmless things, like humor and language, to the very real and harmful problem of racism on social media.
That's the power of this kind of research.
Yeah.
It helps us understand the subtle ways in which prejudice operates.
Mm-hmm.
Even in spaces that we might think of as progressive or inclusive,
Right.
social media can be a double-edged sword. While it offers incredible opportunities for connection and empowerment,
Yeah.
it can also be a breeding ground for hate and discrimination.
It's a reminder that we need to be vigilant and hold each other accountable for the language we use online.
Yeah.
Just because something is presented as a joke doesn't make it okay.
Absolutely. We need to be critical consumers of online content and challenge racist humor whenever we see it. Silence is complicity.
And what struck you the most about this deep dive? What do you want our listener to really take away from this?
I think the most important takeaway is that racism isn't always overt and explicit. It can be subtle, hidden behind humor, and even disguised as cultural norms.
We need to be aware of those subtle forms of racism and call them out, whether it's online or in our everyday lives.
Right. And we need to support and amplify the voices of those who are speaking out against injustice. It's a collective responsibility. We all have a role to play in creating a more just and equitable society.
And we need to remember that the fight for racial justice doesn't stop at national borders. This whitening ideology the article discusses in the Brazilian context.
Yeah.
It has global implications.
Absolutely. It's a legacy of colonialism that continues to impact societies around the world. So while this article focused on Brazil, the insights it offers are relevant to anyone who cares about social justice and equality.
Yeah, it really makes you think about the insidious ways racism manifests and how social media can amplify those harmful messages.
It's a constant evolution, right?
Yeah.
These age-old prejudices are finding new ways to spread and take root, often in ways that are harder to detect and challenge.
And that's what's so unsettling about this disparagement humor.
Yeah.
It allows racism to hide in plain sight, disguised as harmless fun.
And because it's often veiled in humor, it makes it much more difficult to call out.
Right.
People can always claim they were just kidding,
Yeah.
or that others are being too sensitive.
It's a way of silencing dissent and
Yeah.
shutting down conversations about racism.
Exactly. And that's why it's so important to be aware of the power of language, to understand how humor can be used to perpetuate harm, and to be willing to challenge those harmful narratives whenever we encounter them.
Yeah, it's like we have to develop a new set of lenses for navigating the online world, right?
Yeah.
We can't just take things at face value anymore.
Right.
You have to be critical thinkers and be willing to question what we see and hear.
That's so crucial. Developing those critical thinking skills is essential in the digital age.
Yeah.
We're bombarded with information from all sides, and it's easy to get swept up in the tide of opinions and biases.
It's like we need to become digital detectives, always on the lookout for those subtle clues that reveal the underlying messages and motivations.
That's a great analogy.
Thanks.
We need to be aware of the ways in which language can be manipulated, how humor can be weaponized, and how seemingly harmless content can actually perpetuate harmful stereotypes.
And this goes beyond simply recognizing these tactics. It's about being empowered to challenge them. We can't just be passive consumers of information. We need to be active participants in shaping the online landscape.
Absolutely. It's about using our voices, our platforms, and our influence to push back against hate and promote a more inclusive and equitable online environment.
So for our listener who's now absorbed all this information about racist humor and the specific ways it targets Black women in Brazil, what's the one thing you want them to walk away thinking about?
I think the most important thing is to recognize that this isn't just a Brazilian problem.
Right.
The issues we've discussed today, the use of disparagement humor, the impact of historical prejudices, the role of social media in amplifying hate, these are global phenomena.
We see these same patterns playing out in different contexts all over the world.
Exactly. So whether you're in Brazil, the US, or anywhere else, it's crucial to be aware of these dynamics and to be actively engaged in challenging racism and discrimination in all its forms.
It's about recognizing that the fight for social justice is an ongoing process, and it requires constant vigilance and effort from all of us.
And remember, even small actions can make a difference. Speaking out against a racist joke, sharing resources about anti-racism, supporting organizations that are fighting for equality, all of these things contribute to a more just and equitable world.
It's about recognizing that we all have a role to play no matter how big or small, and that our collective actions can create a ripple effect that leads to meaningful change.
This deep dive has just scratched the surface of a complex and multifaceted issue, but hopefully it's sparked your curiosity and inspired you to learn more and to take action.
Knowledge is power, and when we use that knowledge to challenge injustice and promote equality, we create a more hopeful future for everyone.
That's a powerful message to end on. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you'll continue to explore these issues and to engage in these important conversations.
And we'll be back soon with another deep dive into a new and fascinating topic. Until then, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep fighting for a better world.